Hey everyone, I'm Niccara.
And I'm Brandon.
And welcome to our podcast.
But making books.
As we are healing through our bookish adventure.
Yeah. Healing through our life bookishly.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah. Life is an adventure though. Healing through this adventure called life.
Yeah.
Bookishly. That works. Yeah, I like that too.
I like that too.
Good thing that this is our first podcast. And this is all about our chances for you all to just meet us and get to know what we're doing and why we're doing it and things like that. I'm very excited to actually be able to do this. Before we get into the synopsis of the pod and like how we plan on doing things, we should kick it off just how we usually kick things off naturally, which is just like our own little check-in. So like, how are you?
I'm good. You know what? That's not true. I'm even. Like, I turned off my phone this past weekend, which was amazing. So I had my phone off for like 3 days. And I think it's what I needed to recenter myself because I've been feeling a little stressed, a little overwhelmed. But it helped me gain back focus. How about you?
Yeah, I'm feeling, for me, I'm definitely feeling like the essence of spring in the air. Like a lot of new, it feels like, like spring wants to come, like tomorrow. It really wants to be here. And because some things are starting to push through the soil. And I thought I had 4 more weeks of winter. The groundhog lied.
Okay, I don't remember I don't know his first name, but I know his name is Phil.
Phil. Oh yeah.
And I don't respect that man.
Right, exactly. There's something to it. But I'm in the midst of all that. I think I'm in a place of I think I'm evening out. Because I think that some things, again, like the buds are popping up a little sooner than I thought, and so I'm not sure that I'm fully ready. But also that could just be me being hypercritical of myself, as I tend to be. So there we are.
You're in good company then.
You know what I mean?
So am I.
Awesome. So
am I.
Well, I'll tell you this though. I'm very, very excited to officially get started with the shooting of our podcast, but making books. I'm curious, what. I know that here at Charm City Books, where we're in the studio right now, where it's all being shot. I know that that's been a goal around here, where I'm a manager, to really develop a digital content platform. Like that's been like an initial goal when they started. Davin and Joe started the company 3 years ago. Well, I guess 3+ now. We get to official type, but and me coming in, that's my thing. As an artist, outside of all this, I've always been interested in the media space, digital content space, but always doing it my way, I guess, or doing it with my skill sets or my artistic passions or what have you, inclinations. We're kind of always just incubating or thinking about things.
Right.
And we were doing Between Two Succulents for a while, and that was really cool. We wanted to change things, and things were changing at the store, and a lot of ideas were coming up, and a lot of ideas were going, and a lot of new things were coming in, a lot of old things were going out. Just, in this season of change and growing and development, I feel like it started to just resurgence that a podcast would be really, really cool to, really sort out and really get down and, really do, because we just have energy around a couple of podcast ideas or have you really. For this one specifically, someone pointed out, it's maybe we'll, because think about Niccara too, or talk about Niccara too, because you guys seem to have a good banter, which we do. You're one of few people at the store that instantly what have you. There are several others, but I'm not gonna get in trouble. Love, but it's when we talk, it's they'll see. Ultimately, so you'll see. So how would for me that's how it started, and then we got you on. I guess. Yeah,
pretty much. Joe and Davin were so we have this idea, and then Brandon was DMs me, what's up? Yeah, we're doing this. So are you cool with this? Would you do it? I'm I always wanted to do a podcast that really focuses where the baseline is books, but it can develop from there because I try to be a very avid reader. And I think I'm pretty good, probably based on other folks that I know. Where I read a lot of books, and I think by me reading more, my mind has been able to explore different facets of, like, reflection of my own life, reflection of others, reflection of just everything around the world around me. And I think books are literally our windows to the soul and windows to a world that is not of yours, of a world view. And so I really just love books in that way.
Yeah. We are both reflective people. Like,
yes.
We do a lot of self-reflection. And I feel like books have been a great content generator for that. But I think that our background as Black entrepreneurs, creatives, all of that, has really been a big part of it too. Like, we are, there's something about people who want to, like, keep their finger on the pulse of things that feels sometimes inauthentic and over-explanatory. I mean,
George Floyd.
So when you just get the chance, when you just get the chance to, like, come together and just be yourself and just bring all that content from, and it's like you're not thinking about how you have to dress it up a way, or you have to, like, over-exasperate or over-explain or stress the content and all of its nuances, like, culturally, just the background that we have, because it's so rich as a culture. Right. So being able to just come to a space where, like, we can just set all that extra stuff down, embracing the fact that, we are coming from a very cultural standpoint, as well as, like, a cultural lens as we digest.
No choice but to.
Exactly. As we digest the books and the content that we talk about. That is all book related, but I think it really is cool to, like, do something more than just a book review podcast. Like, we're really bringing our voices and our backgrounds to it, and it's going to come up in certain ways. And I feel like it'll happen naturally.
I think so too.
And that's been my goal. Like, I don't want to have to force talking about something I love. Right. Especially if we have this healing aspect of, like, check-ins and things like that. That's not healing. I'm very excited about being able to share more than anything, and whatever everyone takes away from our sharing, explore, and, like, hopefully you read the books, hopefully you check out any references we bring up, any cultural idiosyncrasies or colloquialisms that I'm sure are going to be through and through.
Yeah, probably.
All of these things.
They will be.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, I'm excited about having a space where we can just be that, and, always reminding people that Google is free.
Google.com.
Yeah, to be able to talk about something we love too. Yeah. So that's the structure, and so,
Ask Jeeves.
That is, man.
Man,
Too soon?
Too soon?
No,
I don't know.
So that's pretty much, that's why we say we are bookishly healing through our life, because our lives come with a lot of backlog information. It comes with a backlist, if you will. And it's exciting to just be able to use this platform like that. But, real important question, who are you?
Who am I? My name's Niccara, like Wildberry Skittles. It's like, but not really. That is all true.
I'm Brandon. I think I gotta go with the blueberry.
You mean the tropical?
Or the tropical, that's what it
blueberry
is. There's the purple wildberry. Boom.
The purple is wildberry.
Yeah.
Yeah, the blue is tropical.
Oh, okay, boom.
But I love both.
There it goes. Okay, I love both.
But no, I work in politics in my full-time life. Live in, of course, it's Baltimore. I can't. So I'm Niccara, like, work in politics is my full-time gig. But off to the side, like, I would liken myself to, I want to be the next Black Reese Witherspoon. Amen. So I love books. I love telling people about books. I am a Scorpio, Leo rising, Gemini moon, Virgo is Venus. My Venus is in Virgo. That tells you a lot about it, and it will come up. I'm very holistic, but I do have cultural Christian lens, but also African practices. So you'll find that out a lot, and probably ties into a lot of the books I read. That's a little bit about me. In my 30s, military family. Dad's from Texas, mom's from Baltimore and Virginia. What about you?
My name is Brandon. professionally Brandon Rashad Butts, but I would love to just be Brandon in this space.
Yes,
just to be clear.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Because I ain't saying all that.
You know,
okay,
I'd rather
right.
you not. You know, I'd rather you not. You know, it's okay. You know, it's the moniker more than anything. No, and I think, I mean, that's for, you know what I mean? Like, my roommate's always like, BRB, and I'd be like, that's me. And she's like, all right, haha. I'm like, I've been making that joke since I was 8. Like, it's like, but, no, I mean, that, for me, that's what I try to be, just a chill dude. Like, you know, I try to have big impact and few, in fewer steps or in a more chiller vibe or what have you. Also in my 30s, love to cook. Professionally a theater artist by trade, and that's a ever developing career. I mean, it's my career. So I don't know why I often will struggle with just saying career, but there it is.
It is.
And I am here as a manager at Charm City Books, which is a very unexpected connection that was born out of like a need to reconnect to things I love, because of course 2020 hit and pandemic, and you know, what are we gonna do, right? And so I started reading books. Shortly after that, I'm looking for another job. Shortly after that, I'm working at Charm City Books. Shortly after that, I'm back here and doing it full swing and all that stuff or what have you. So, you know, and I think I definitely have to say, you know, I'm also like a writer at heart for sure. I've been writing for literally decades now, and I definitely feel more juice being back in that space. Like, I've gotten more further into my first novel than I ever have since this time.
Don't quote
and
that.
Taken,
Why'd
like,
you hit the
because I don't know if it is a novel yet.
Okay.
That's like, novel is truly like, I don't know that it is.
Don't belittle it now.
We're working. No. Like, we're figuring out what it is still. Okay. No, that's okay. No, we're and so, you know, I feel like that's why I'm back in this bookish space for real. To become well read and well learned about the book space as a whole, on an indie book level, as a writer, like I'm Morrison in publishing, like on like everything. Like, it's funny, I am a Taurus sun, moon, and my Venus is in Taurus. God. So there's all that for you. But I'm a Gemini rising, if that helps anything.
I mean,
I don't know.
No wonder you're so chill.
You know, I try. Listen, I ain't got time to. But then that Gemini sneaks in when I'm not.
Yeah,
and that's the problem. That's
okay.
I know, but we are healing through life bookishly. Okay.
Yes,
all right?
we are.
We're doing it. So that's the nutshell version. But you know, I figured a good way to actually officially kick off a little bit about who we are and what we like and our vibe, things like that.
Yeah.
Is to sort of introduce ourselves through the lens of books. So now we're going to do a Meet Us segment.
Yes.
Where you'll get to hear a little bit about us through, or why we love 5 books each. And what we take from those books and how they've applied to our life and so forth. We have some of the books, but a lot of the books we have in stock, but you guys get to support the store so much, and even more, thankfully.
Yes.
And so the stock is always coming and going. But what are you wanna go first? You wanna go your first book?
I can go my first book.
Let me see what my books were. I forgot.
I know, because we owe. So the first book is Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry by Mildred Taylor. So I actually got introduced to this book in middle school. I went to a really progressive Catholic school down here in Baltimore, and that was one of the books they actually had us read. This was like a school mandated book for my middle school. And why I like Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry is because the main protagonist, Cassie, was so formidable that I was just you'll see in the themes of my books, I love a strong female protagonist because I feel as though I see myself in the book, and just seeing how they brought family dynamics and community to own this land at a time when Black people didn't own land. It's just amazing, and them dealing with trying to hold on to legacy. I would liken it to the struggle you see in Queen Sugar of trying to keep up the legacy of owning the land. It's very similar. And so that's one of my favorite books because it ties in the community, it ties in a strong female protagonist. And as you go through Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry, like the series, all the way till Cassie is older and like is grown and like is on her own, like you still see all of the strong familial ties and close community translate in how she functions throughout her life. So that's why that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
How about you?
Queen Sugar is a Niccara Mission is a TV series that's actually very good. Like
it is very good.
Ava directs it, created it, created and directs it.
She directed it. It's based off a book.
Right, it is based off the book. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So amazing. I think first I'm gonna go with the cooking gene first, which is for me very important because it's a black man at several intersections of life, exploring his history through the lens of his blackness over the course of about 300 years of personal family history. So like he goes down to like, it's a very hands-on account of his lineage, and he goes down to like Williamsburg, Virginia, where it's been colonial. I went down. I'm from Richmond, Virginia, so I trips to Williamsburg were nothing. You know what I mean? Like it's 45 minutes down the road, or to get to very much so. So to hear him talk about in a book the way that he worked with certain tools or used certain cooking units or materials and crops that were only around during that time that we got to participate in on a very childlike, we're going to a museum type of vibe. So interaction is only in like little areas where you can maybe do some tinkering or what have you. This man really spent time researching on this land, cooking using the whole acreage that is down there. Essentially, it is such a well-written, very thorough analysis of what it means to...
It's like High on the Hog.
Exhibit. He is one of the producers on High on the Hog.
Oh, okay. Netflix series.
I think there's one highlighted episode for him, if I remember correctly. But he's a part of that, and that's very much what it is. And so it really is a moment to just highlight blackness from tracing it to just before slavery through to I think he stopped somewhere in like the 1900s, I believe. But yeah, that history personally. And so for me, that's something that I'm constantly trying to do is explore myself and my history through my food, because I'm a big time cook for sure. But also just for me personally, like I constantly am always thinking about my lineage and history, and I write plays as well. So I have a couple of plays that deal with little stories that I've heard over time, but even that is still in some ways fiction. So I love the nonfiction. I'm a nonfiction person around here for sure. That's why I really love the cooking gene. It's really good, and it really highlights my vibe.
That's good.
Yeah. So
my other book is so problematic as an author now. Is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. That is, I am a Harry Potter fanatic. I have a wand in my house. I bought from Universal Studios, had butterbeer, spiked it with alcohol. It was lit. It was everything. I live. I'm definitely like a Slytherin moon, Gryffindor rising, Ravenclaw, moon, like Slytherin sun, Ravenclaw moon. So why do I like that book out of all of them? It's when they were like approaching adolescence, because I grew up with Harry Potter. Like when they were 12, like I was like following them through my education and also age. So Order of the Phoenix is them fighting back against a superpower structure, which is no one believing that Voldemort's bad. Voldemort has infiltrated the Ministry, and they try to get rid of Dumbledore, and then Harry Potter and his friends band together, and they use the strength of all their skills together to fight back against this formidable force. Also, while being teenagers and trying to date and have a life. And that, I think, is the essence of who I am as a person. I'm very much into just and equity, not equality. I want equity, which is totally different. which I just was in a trip in Israel recently, and that was actually one of my names. They call me. It's like Niccara is like she just believes in the good in everyone, and it's not that I believe in the good of everyone. I just try to see people for who they are. Mm-hmm. I do think some people don't. It's a little bit circumstantial, as well as it's nurture versus environment. You know, nature versus nurture. And I think it's a little bit of both. And if you don't give people the tools to even make a decision of that, figuratively, whatever is good and evil, I think there's dichotomy in that too. That is like presents itself in this book, and that's why I like Order of the Phoenix.
I love that. Wow, man, Lord, that's why it's frustrating that she ended up the way that she did.
Come on now, like you gotta be a problematic.
Yes, there's so much power in that.
It is, and you just gotta be problematic for no damn reason. You could have sat there and ate your Cheerios.
Yeah, I mean,
chip Cheerio. You could have ate your Cheerios.
All right, so I think I'm a juke in a different direction because I would also like to highlight the kids because for me it's like I started writing at a very young age.
Me too.
And so I think for me, if we're going back to like a childhood area, I think I'm gonna go back to storybook level. And I'm going to say Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Really? The movie?
No, the book.
Oh.
Absolutely not the movie.
Oh. Okay. My bad.
Here's why, though. Because,
shake the table.
I mean, the movie, because it's a movie, right? So there has to be like a something's happening or whatever, whatever. In the book, it's very much so the impossible is natural. It's raining meatballs.
Literally.
And everybody's just standing outside with their plates and ready to eat. It's so chill. Yeah. It's so cool. It's highly imaginative. And I feel like in a very... Ooh, let me choose these words right. In a sheltered upbringing, I felt like books like that, as well as the interest in writing, allowed me to just break out and think big and be imaginative.
That's fair.
Because again, it's like that's why I'm like the movies. I didn't like the movie for a number of reasons, but also it's a child's movie, so we're gonna leave it alone. But
I'm about to say let the kids
you know what I mean. I'm gonna let the kids have it. Brandon, let the kids.
Right.
I'm gonna let the kids have it. But for me, it was just something about just the lack of impending death in the book that just made it feel. Like, oh, that's so cool, that's so fun, and you can just think big and go for it because the impossible could be possible. You never know, so I'm gonna go there.
So as we're talking about breaking down, like, barriers of childhood or limiting beliefs and limiting opinions or all those things, I'm gonna go with Secret Life of Church Ladies. Because I felt so alone in that book. Like, I felt so alone before because I felt like, am I allowed to have these very outward thoughts about challenging things, challenging power structures, especially like as a black woman in a country that literally, from its inception, has told you like, no. And if you try to go higher, like, no. So church can sometimes religion, church, and the structure can be very freeing, but if used in the wrong way, it can be very limiting. And I think what she did in this book just opened up my mind to like, I'm not alone in feeling like these structures are not okay, and what happens when certain people have power when they probably shouldn't, because power can be intoxicating, and who is the most pressured in to these very straight linear functions. It's usually queer, black, feminine. All these things are being suppressed because femininity and the ideas of divine femininity is always pushed and suppressed. In sexuality and all those things. And so that book was just, to me, it was just like, wow. It just opened up my mind too. It was just amazing. I finished it in like 2 days. And I gave it to my boyfriend's dad, who was a pastor, and he was like, yeah, this book is like it. Like, he was like, this is an amazing book.
Yeah. I mean, and that really is it. And it's a short story collection.
Yeah.
And it's like, a lot of people are like, about short stories. I like short stories, but they have to be good.
They have to be good.
This is good. You know what I mean? This is good. And of course, what's good is subjective or what have you. But like, you know, this is not. This is just good.
No,
like
it's just
this
good.
is just period point blank. You know, in my opinion,
Like it's
so
just,
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, it's just good.
Yeah, all right. So I think next I'm gonna go with the GOAT. My favorite author and truly like one of the greatest authors of all time.
She is.
And which is also not subjective. It is very
it's good.
That's the period.
It's giving.
Blank, right?
It's like you say, Great Gatsby's good,
yeah.
right? Is it like always as good, right?
Yes.
Toni Morrison's
absolutely. Toni Morrison is it. Toni.
Toni.
This is her 10th novel, though. So this is on the later end of her works. Mm-hmm. This is the story of Frank Money, a young man who's returning home at 24 years old from the Korean War, integrating in an integrated army unit. Mm-hmm. And so he's coming back home, which is the title of the book, Home. And, you know, you're in war, and then you're in war while you're in war, and then you come home, and you find more war. Mm-hmm. That's why this book is like, it's so... My background, which we'll have to get into a lot more over the course of this pod, is like, you know, I have a home, and I very much have home, and I know where home is for me and things like that. But in my growing up, I had to learn that home couldn't just be a place that I went to go visit a couple times a year. I had to find home within me and always bring home with me wherever I was. And I feel like Frank, and that's what is at 24, after having been through the traumatic, life-altering experience of war, he's trying to figure that and do that work right now. And he's dealing with, like, you know, what someone may struggle with mentally, you know, through all these things. I don't know. There's something, like, every time I just think about it, I get a little, like, ugh. Because, like, Toni really, like, I felt like she saw me. I ain't never met this lady. She don't know me from nothing. Like, nothing, right? But, like, wow. Like... There's something you know what that struggle is. Yeah. You know what that is, and this is very clear that you do, and that's why home for me is like my number one, because it is active work to know that you have home, have safe space, and know that it's active work to like protect it and take care of it and nurture it and, you know, clean it and things like that as you go through life, because life's gonna hit you, and you know. You can always have home, though. So, that and the fact that his name is Frank Money, and that's just like, dog, that name.
Frank Money!
You know what I mean?
Frank
Let's go back to,
Leotis.
Leotis! Leotis! I love that.
Oh, Frank Money. Okay. So, for me, I think my book is next, would be 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. Okay. Because... it is classified as a romance novel, but it deals with a lot of things that I think have personally been attached to my life. She is this young woman, and she's going through things with her mother and unlearning patterns from her mother. And her mother don't have a great relationship. And how her boyfriend goes to prison, and how they lost touch. And then they find themselves in a hot, sweaty day in Brooklyn, and they meet, and how their romance comes to fruition, and them unpacking everything that has come from him being in prison, her dealing with her maternal issues, her also being a mother, her also just being in a space and like finding this love again is just beautiful. And at the end, it doesn't have a happy ever after as you would see in traditional books of the romance genre, but it is an ever after, and I think it's beautiful because it is reflective of real life, and it makes me happy. It's one of my favorite books. Yeah,
life doesn't have a happy ever, and it's real life and things like that. So I'm gonna go here.
Ooh,
I'm gonna go with the soothsayer herself. The prophetess.
The prophetess.
Octavia E. Butler.
Yes.
This is the second part in an unfinished trilogy. Parable of the Talents. it follows. It's a very big sci-fi story. I'm trying to like truncate. I thought I'd be better at this. If it's a sci-fi story that really follows the damages of a patriarchal, a religious, and a non-environmentalist society, I think would be 3 big points that I think are hit within this play, this book. Excuse me, the theater jumps out. And in this one specifically, the whole first book, Parable of the Sower, is sort of laying the land and the foundation. There's wars, battles within religious sectors of government-controlled entity, and then there are like what's the word? Like vigilance. There's like a sort of vigilante type of community or what have you that has their own rules, has their own society. Also different biological or internally has a different practice, different way of doing things. Parallel of the Talents jumps things further. We're more into the battles are still going. People have lost people. We've lost key figures, things like that. And here, the thing about this one, everything is really at a head. The whole thing is really at like the climax of, the 6-point storytelling art. The whole book is that. And you don't really hit the falling resolution until like the last few pages of the book. And unfortunately, and that's what's exciting about it, because so much of what happens in this book is a lot of stuff that's gone along over years, but like specifically since you know who went to office. Yeah. And a lot more things have hit the fan since he went into office, and then now this book itself feels a lot more poignant. Because of the protest nature, the climate change aspects. Like, I mean, really, like the themes are characters within themselves in this book. Yeah. Because they push and propel. It carries so much weight. And they're ever changing as well. Because they have to. Because the whole thing is about change. And how God is change. That's one of the lyrics to a song that is repeated throughout the series. God is change. So... how do you dance with that, right? And it's just so powerful. I loved, and she again, like, because she passed away, and she didn't get to finish it, but it is, she knew what she was talking about. I think if you read any biological work about her, of hers, or about her, you see that she just had a fascination with the future and the unknown, for sure. And
she's amazing. She's like one of my favorites. Okay, so I'm going to close it out with something fun, which is the wedding date.
Yeah, of course.
I love Jasmine Guillory. And let me tell you why, okay? She is like... Because this book... One, Roxane Gay already said, what a charming, warm, sexy gem of a novel. Yeah. Roxane Gay, okay? The queen herself. But Jasmine Guillory does something that is poignant. Okay, with her books, because romance, especially a black woman being the character feature of a romance novel, is very unheard of in the mainstream, and she has captivated everybody in a way that I think is very that allows you as a black woman to believe that you deserve love and romance, because love is revolutionary. And everybody deserves it. Yeah. And everybody deserves to be desired and wanted and to have the career and to have the love and to have the things. And so she always makes sure, like, the women usually have, like, natural hair, some type of natural hairstyle, usually not super skinny, usually, like, got meat. Who got the meat? So I just love how she does that. I can't put it down. It's just sexy, steamy, all of the above. And I just love Jasmine Guillory.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the classic, like, we'll get into like romance genre probably later, but like that's definitely one of the ones is like, oh, that's a romance writer, and I've known that forever without ever having read her work, let alone many romance books. So yeah, she's definitely like a heavy hitter. Yeah. I did my fun one already, and I've already done a cooking one, so I think I am going to go. Or should I don't know, but all right, we're just going to make a decision. We're going to go with it. We're going to go with Mr. Baldwin, James Baldwin, The Fire Next Time. This very short book is a collection of 2 essays. One of them to his 14-year-old son about the presence of race in American history. And then the second one is about his findings and his learningness over religion in the same lens, American history and so forth. It is just 2 very big intersectors of my life. I grew up very much in a religious family and background, and I would still say that I have religious practices and am religious and things like that. While although like yourself, and you're probably further along than me, you are just of like human design and like African, connections to spirituality as well as religion and so forth. I've been reading and exploring more. And it's because, it's just like little things like that have always, like, Dante Stewart's Shout in the Fire is another one that I really need to read soon. That's a more relevant, more recent one. Then in the first collection, the first essay is a letter to his 14-year-old son, and that I felt like, his 14-year-old nephew, and that to me felt like something that I wish I had, we didn't quite have the race conversation at home, or like how America views me as a young black male. I knew it, and it was made clear to me through ways, but no one had I didn't read like an essay or a letter that was written to me specifically, or someone sat down and had that conversation with me per se. So I feel as though when I read this for the first time in college, I felt like I was able to get those conversations that I was curious about all this time. And that was the impetus for a lot of things that I do now. Like a lot of my work is driven by the intersections of my life, which are usually around race, religion, sexuality, gender, all these, all the things that I'm constantly talking about, frankly. Right. So, that one, and, he does so much in just a small number of pages. So it's, that's also speaks to the way I like to do things. I like to take up as much time, but make big impact.
That's fair. So, that's the Taurus in you.
It is, yo. You're not gonna drag me every episode.
Yeah, I am. It probably will have to be the thing that I do.
So that is. Yeah, do you feel introduced? I feel introduced.
I feel introduced. I think we gave you a pretty good synopsis based on all the books that we like, and I think that kind of guides how we view books and this podcast and conversations going forward.
Yeah, definitely.
Gives that good baseline.
Yeah, and I'm excited to go forward and continue to make really, really great things and continue to see what happens and how we develop. Yes. I'm very excited to continue to press on, and thank you to everyone for joining us and watching this for the first time. We really appreciate it. Shout out to Trump City Books and the whole team over there for putting all of this together. We really appreciate everything that we've gotten from Second Chance. All of these gifted furniture pieces, everything is all of the proceeds go to helping people get reinstated in the community on a different on varying levels. Yes. So please make any contributions or just shop over there if you can, because it all goes back to the community, which is a big deal.
Yes.
Anything you want to highlight? Acknowledgements, thoughts, questions, comments, concerns?
No. If you guys have anything you want to say, just add us, follow us on Instagram, Nicara's Book Club, as well as just Nicara.Campbell on IG. And then your handles?
My handles, I'm really pretty much on IG, at BRAD Books. And then Charm City Books at Charm City Books is on there as well. You can also follow us at But Make It Books Pod. But Make It Books Pod.
Yes.
So you can also follow us at But Make It
Baltimore.
Right. It sounds like I'm saying But Make It Books. So you can follow us. So you can follow us on But Make It Books Pod on Instagram, and we'll have a lot more information, updates, and even more really dope content coming out very, very, very soon. All right, thank you, everybody, and we'll see y'all next time. Hey, y'all.
y'all. Thanks for listening. Be sure to follow us on all of our socials at But Make It Books Pod, at BRAD Books, at Niccara's Book Club, and at Charm City Books. And be sure to like, comment, and share with all your friends. We only grow if you help us. And also come down by the bookstore and check out all the books that we discuss, or shop online at charmcitybooks.com. Until then, keep healing, but make it books.